Power doesn't acknowledge weakness. It doesn't slow down for it. And it certainly doesn't respect it. If you've ever wondered why powerful people don't take you seriously, why they brush you off, skip over you, or look through you like glass, it's not because they're cruel. It's because you don't register as a threat. You don't register at all. And that's your fault. In a world built on dominance and hierarchy, the man who plays soft dies in silence. You think only being nice will get you noticed. It won't. You think being agreeable whole time will earn you a seat at the table. You'll be lucky to get the crumbs. Powerful people are predators. They scan every room looking for one thing: value, leverage, advantage. If you offer none, you become none. Now here's the truth. No one dares to say you're being ignored because of weak habits you think are harmless, but they're rotting your presence from the inside out. These habits whisper to the world, I'm safe, I'm soft, I pose no challenge. Overlook me so the world obliges. This series isn't for the sensitive. It's not about healing, crying, or talking it out. This is about domination, correction, reconstruction. Because if you don't kill the weak parts of you, someone stronger will. Over the next 10 sections, I'm going to burn those weak habits to the ground. No excuses, no justifications, no self-help fluff, just psychological war. We begin with the first deadly habit that silently labels you low value. You apologize for existing. You walk into rooms like you're trespassing. You speak with hesitation, like you're asking for permission to breathe. You dim your voice, round off your words, lower your volume because deep down you don't think you belong. Let me be clear, powerful people can smell that. The moment you shrink, they stop listening. Not out of cruelty, out of instinct. Because survival favors confidence, and confidence begins with unapologetic presence. If your energy says, please don't hate me, they will. Not because they dislike you, but because you've marked yourself prey. This world doesn't have time to uplift those who refuse to stand tall. You want to be noticed, be undeniable. You want to be respected, carry yourself like a problem, not a pet. No more apologizing for your voice, no more shrinking into silence, no more tiptoeing through life like a ghost in your own story. We start here. Walk in like you own the place, even if you don't, especially if you don't, because power doesn't wait, it watches, and if you act like you belong, it will begin to wonder if maybe you do. If you're ready to burn your weaknesses to ash, comment below. I kill comfort, I build danger. The comfort curse. How always? 1. The comfort curse playing safe makes you forgettable. Let's talk about the slowest death a man can experience. A comfortable life, you wake up, you follow the same routine, you avoid risk, you protect your peace. And day by day, you become invisible. Comfort feels good. That's the trap. It gives you dopamine, but it steals your edge. It numbs your hunger. It makes you soft in your thoughts, your words, your presence. Powerful people sense it instantly. They look at you and feel nothing. No intensity, no fire, no threat. You become another soft-spoken, predictable, padded soul, walking through life hoping things will work out. They won't. Because the world only rewards the men who push past comfort, not the ones who camp inside it. You avoid discomfort like it's danger. But the truth is, discomfort is the path. It's the door to presence, to respect, to power. Every time you stay in your safe zone, you betray your potential. Every time you take the easy route, you make yourself forgettable. Powerful people don't avoid pressure. They run toward it. They train inside it. They expand inside chaos while others seek shelter. Who want to be remembered? Do the thing that terrifies you. Speak when others go quiet. Move when others freeze. Say no when they expect yes. Build when there's nothing but dust around you. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your sculptor. You think you're protecting yourself by avoiding stress. No, you're just delaying the day the world crushes you for being unprepared. Stop asking for safety. Start asking for situations that sharpen your instincts, situations that demand your evolution. Because men are not destroyed by pain, they're destroyed by comfort. If you're done hiding in comfort, comment below. Comfort kills kings. I train in fire. The craving for two. The craving for approval. The silent addiction of weak men. There's a look some men wear. It's not in their clothes, it's in their eyes. A quiet begging, please approve of me. They mask it with smiles, with fake confidence, with humble tones and friendly gestures, but it leaks through. You can't hide the hunger for validation. It stinks of insecurity. Powerful people see it immediately and they recoil. Not because they're heartless, but because they don't feed that addiction. They crush it. You think your need to be liked makes you more human? It doesn't. It makes you dependent, predictable, soft, And worst of all, forgettable. Let me make this brutal. Needing validation is a habit of the ruled, not the ruler. When you wait for others to clap for you, you put your power in their hands. When their opinion dictates your mood, they own you. They don't respect you, they puppet you. Think of every strong figure you admire. Machiavelli, Aurelius, Napoleon. You think they asked for approval? No. They demanded respect by acting like they already had it. You want to be remembered? Stop seeking agreement. Start speaking like your truth doesn't need their nod. You want presence? Say what needs to be said. Even if no one claps, even if they all hate you. That's the difference between a leader and a lapdog. Understand this. People are drawn to certainty, not desperation. When you walk into a room and don't need anyone, that's when they start to notice you. But when you constantly scan faces looking for signs that you're good enough, they don't see strength. They see a child and they move on. So here's your new standard. Don't chase validation. Trigger it or ignore it, but never depend on it. Your power begins where their approval ends. If you're ready to starve that addiction, comment below. I kill the need. I lead without 3. The clumsy tongue applause. The clumsy tongue, how poor communication marks you as incompetent. A sharp mind means nothing if the mouth is dull, and most men, their mouths ruin them before their actions even begin. You speak in circles, you ramble, you fumble your sentences, chase filler words, and bury your message under layers of fluff. And in those moments, powerful people stop listening. Not because they're impatient, but because they're efficient. They don't have time to decode your stutters, your passive phrasing, your nervous explanations. They judge you immediately by the sharpness of your speech. In Machiavellian psychology, speech isn't just communication, it's a weapon. It reveals how you think, how you handle pressure, how much control you have over yourself. A man who speaks with clarity commands the room. A man who mumbles, apologizes mid-sentence, or trips over his own thoughts, he screams one word: unready. And powerful people do not trust the unready. Let's break it down. Weak speech patterns equals weak mind. Passive tone equals passive nature. Disorganized thoughts equals disorganized life. No one will say it to your face, but behind closed doors, they'll label you a liability. And once that label sticks, you don't get a second chance. If you want to be taken seriously, you must train your words like a soldier trains for war. Speak with weight. Use silence with precision. Eliminate filler. No, cut that trash out of your vocabulary. And most importantly, speak when you mean something. Not just to fill the air. Not just to be included. Speak when it moves the needle. Because in the game of power, the man who speaks carelessly dies silently. If you're done being underestimated, leave this below. Every word I speak is a weapon. The praise addiction. How craving compliments makes you easy to manipulate. Here's a brutal truth. Most men don't want power. They want praise. They say they want success, but what they're really chasing is applause, recognition, a pat on the back. You're addicted to compliments and you don't even realize it. You tilt your personality to sound agreeable. You soften your language to avoid conflict. You do things not because they're right, but because they'll get you a well done. It looks harmless, but it's a leash, a silent chain around your neck. You've given other people the power to regulate your worth. When they clap, you feel alive. Then they stay silent. You crumble. That's not strength, that's servitude. The Machiavellian mind understands this. Praise is a tool. It's how kings control the court, it's how leaders reward compliance, and how manipulators test your weakness. They'll give you just enough validation to keep you dependent, and the moment you step out of line, they'll withhold it and watch you chase it like a starving dog. That's how they own you. If someone can control your mood with a compliment, they control you. Let this sink in. The more you crave recognition, the easier it is to puppet your emotions because you made your value external, and the world can smell it. Real power. It doesn't need praise. It thrives in silence. It sharpens in rejection. It stays focused on results, not approval. You want to be untouchable. Kill the need to be liked. Let them misunderstand you. Let them stay silent. Let them watch in discomfort as you win without applause. Because the moment you stop needing compliments, you become dangerous. If you're ready to burn the leash of approval, you should know praise doesn't feed you, power does. The cracked core. 5. The cracked core. Why lack of confidence makes you repulsive to the powerful. Confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about stability, certainty, a calm, controlled energy that says, I don't need your approval to exist. But when that's missing, when you walk into a room carrying doubt like a scent, you repel power. Not because they hate you, but because they know you can't be trusted with anything important. Powerful people don't lean on uncertainty. They crush it. When you lack confidence, everything you do feels forced. Your smile, your handshake, your presence. You overthink every move, and that hesitation infects everything around you. You ask for permission with your eyes. You second guess your own thoughts. You dilute your opinions to sound agreeable. And all of it reeks of insecurity. You might think people don't notice. They do. Not consciously, but instinctively. They feel your weakness before you say a word. Because lack of confidence isn't just internal. It leaks into your voice, your body language, your posture. It changes how you sit, how you breathe, how you even enter a room. Powerful people pick up on it instantly and mark you as irrelevant. You want to fix this? Then stop chasing confidence like it's a feeling. It's not. It's a decision. You decide to show up like you belong. Before the proof, before the results, before anyone gives you permission. Confidence isn't earned by success. Success is pulled in by confidence. Here's the shift. You walk like you're needed. Speak like your voice carries weight. Move like you've done this before, even when you haven't. Because confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It's still. It's that unshakable posture that says, I will not flinch. If your core is cracked, you will never hold power. People will see right through you. And worse, they'll never look back. If you're done being invisible, drop this in the comments. I don't ask for confidence. I command it. Now, gather 6. The echo of insecurity yourself. The echo of insecurity. Why over-explaining destroys your power. Listen closely. Powerful people don't explain. They state, they command, they act. And if they do speak, it's minimal, deliberate, and final. But you explain everything. Why you were late, why you said what you said, why you want what you want. And every time you explain, you bleed power. Over-explaining is a weak man's disease. It tells the world, I don't trust myself. I need you to like me. I'll bend my truth to stay accepted. And guess what? Powerful people don't like that. They don't trust it because every extra word smells like fear. You think your explanations will earn understanding. They won't. They will only trigger disgust. Because in the hierarchy of dominance, silence is strength. Certainty is control, and excess is exposure. Every time you explain yourself to someone who didn't even ask, you're begging. Begging to be accepted, begging to be liked, begging to be safe. You may not see it, but the powerful do, and they clock you as weak instantly. Understand this. The more powerful the person, the less they tolerate justification. They want decisiveness, directness, energy that says, I said it, that's enough. You want presence, cut your words in half. You want influence? Say what you mean once, then shut up and hold the silence. You are not a courtroom witness. You don't owe people a speech. You are not a dog looking for a treat. You are a man building a throne. You want to stop being ignored. Start treating your voice like it matters. Speak like your decisions are final, not open for negotiation. Because when you explain too much, you hand your power to the person listening, and they won't even notice they took it because you gave it away so easily. So next time, your instincts beg you to explain. Pause, breathe, then say less. Power doesn't argue, it enforces. That's your standard. Now, if you're tired of being overlooked, tell yourself, I don't explain, I execute. The Fairness 7. The Fairness Fantasy. Why playing fair makes you powerless. There's a lie you've been sold since childhood. Play fair, and the world will reward you. But here's the Machiavellian truth. The world is not fair. It's strategic. Powerful people don't play fair. They play smart. They don't wait their turn. They take it. They don't hope for balance. They tilt the game. You think fairness is noble. They see it as naivety. You follow the rules. They rewrite them. Every time you expect the world to be just, you make yourself vulnerable. You get offended when others break the rules. You freeze when life doesn't treat you equally. And worst of all, you hesitate, waiting for fairness to show up like a referee. But in power psychology, fairness is weakness. It signals passivity. It tells others you're easy to predict, easy to pacify, easy to control. You believe life is a board game. They believe it's a battlefield. You wait for the whistle. They've already taken the flag. Let me be blunt. The man who plays fair gets left behind. Because fairness is based on hope, and the powerful do not operate on hope. They operate on leverage. You think if you work hard and stay patient, things will eventually balance out. They won't. Not unless you force the balance, not unless you build advantage, not unless you're willing to bend the rules like they do. You want to be respected by the powerful. Stop whining about fairness. Stop focusing on position, timing, influence, and control. Be strategic, not sentimental. Be calculating, not compliant. Because in this world, the man who demands fairness ends up serving the one who doesn't. If you're done waiting for fairness, tell yourself, I don't only play fair, I play to win. Emotional transparency. 8. Emotional transparency. The fastest way to get played. Let's get one thing straight. The world does not care how you feel, and the powerful, they weaponize your emotions the moment you expose them. You've been told vulnerability is strength, that being real will make people connect with you, that opening up will bring closeness, loyalty, understanding, lies. Vulnerability can be powerful, but only when it's controlled, when it's a tool, not a leak. But most men don't use their emotions, they bleed them. You rant when you're frustrated. You overshare when you're lonely. You break down in front of the wrong people thinking they'll admire your honesty. They won't. They'll smile, nod, then file away every weakness you just handed them and use it against you when it suits them. Because in power psychology, information is currency. And your emotional transparency, that's free gold. Here's what powerful people do when you overshare. They test your limits, they push your buttons, they manipulate your needs, and they study your wounds like a map to your destruction. You think you're building connection. You're building your own trap. So what's the Machiavellian correction? You master your emotions. You don't hide them. You control when and how they appear. You speak in facts, not feelings. You show calm when there's chaos. You give nothing away for free. Because once people know what triggers you, they own you. Once they know what excites you, scares you, angers you, you're no longer a mystery. You're a puppet with visible strings. Cold doesn't mean emotionless. Cold means composed, tactical, unreadable. That's how you earn respect. Not through emotional storms, but through emotional silence. So next time you feel the urge to open up, ask yourself, will this build leverage or will it cost me power? If the answer isn't leverage, shut it down. Mystery is power. Silence is armor. Control is king. The mouth that bleeds power. Why 9? The mouth that bleeds power. Talking too much gets you ignored. There's one habit that kills your influence faster than failure. You talk too much. You ramble. You explain. You fill silence with noise, and every time you do it, you lose presence. The more you speak, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the easier it is to control you. In Machiavellian psychology, speech is a weapon, not a comfort, not a therapy session, not a way to connect. A man who talks too much is a man without discipline, a man who fears silence, a man who fills the void because he's terrified it will expose him. But silence is where the powerful live. It creates mystery, it creates tension, it forces the other person to reveal themselves first. But you don't get that, do you? You speak until the power leaks from your mouth. You think sharing your thoughts makes you smart. You think showing your emotions makes you real. You think saying more makes people understand you. Wrong. Saying more makes them forget you. Because you're predictable. You're exposed. You're easy. Listen. Powerful people don't respect constant talkers. They use them. You walk into a room and start spilling thoughts. They nod while calculating how to turn your own words into leverage. That joke you told, that insecurity you revealed, that dream you shared too early, filed, indexed, stored, you've already lost. And they haven't said a word. The Machiavellian way. Speak when it matters, cut your words like a blade. Sharp, minimal, final. Let others talk themselves into weakness. You stay still, stay cold, stay in control. Because in a room full of talkers, the silent man is the most feared. Remember, power is not loud. It's deliberate. If you're ready to shut up and dominate, tell yourself, I speak less. I strike more. The identity 10. The identity drift. Why? Not knowing who you are makes you powerless. Here's the harsh truth. If you don't know who you are, the world will decide for you. And what it chooses won't be power. It'll be convenience, usefulness, background noise. Weak men drift. They mimic. They adjust their personality for approval. They switch masks based on who's watching. One moment they're confident, next they're apologizing for it. One day they speak their mind, the next they're backpedaling to keep the peace. That's not personality, that's submission. Powerful people spot this immediately, and they discard it, because someone who lacks identity lacks backbone, and someone without a backbone can't be trusted in chaos. Let's go deeper. Your identity isn't your job, it's not your status, it's not your social group. It's what remains when all of that is ripped away. It's your code, your internal constitution, your unshakable center that says, this is who I am, no matter who's in the room. If you don't have that, you're not a man. You're an echo. You'll adapt. You'll fold. You'll become whatever earns the least resistance. And that makes you useless in power dynamics. Power respects edge. Men who know what they are and what they are not. The moment you drop the act, the moment you choose your voice and stand on it, the game changes. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be popular, but you do need to be solid. When people interact with you, they should feel weight, conviction, finality. Because the man who doesn't drift, he commands presence even in silence. Build that. If you're done being a shapeshifter, comment, "My identity is forged, not borrowed."